Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar number 4. I hope it's a wonderful sunny day in your part of the world. We are here in Sofia. It's early evening, and we're going to start our second session for today, or as we like to call it, the Tonight Show. So, in the show tonight, we're going to talk about commercial insertion. We're going to talk about SRT, Secure Reliable Transport Protocol used for streaming video with PlayBox Neo Solutions. And we're going to talk about the Neo Transport Stream Time Delay Server. First, let me start with the Secure Reliable Transport Protocol. This is something new relatively, and we just released a version that supports this. If you need this workflow, please talk to your sales rep and our support engineers, then they'll get you going with this workflow. PlayBox Neo is partner in the SRT Alliance, and SRT basically improves on the known to everybody UDP protocol by adding very high quality of the service, basically allowing for streaming video across a network that is not very reliable, such as internet, and allowing to create secure point-to-point communication, so it's encrypted connection, improves on the error correction protocol, so you get much better quality, much lower latency between the 2 points. Also has in the different roles of the source and point and source, you can overcome issues like traversing firewalls and very common issues otherwise with UDP streams. This is all taken care of in this protocol. So let me start with our usual suspect, the airbox. You have your playout and you want to output SRT stream. Most of the CDN content distribution networks services out there accept this protocol. It's much easier to connect, and as we said, has number of benefits over the typical UDP. I'm not even talking about the RTMP protocol at this point. So as you see, it's a typical setup for a MPEG stream, transport stream. We have our IP addresses, our port, but here comes the part that's particular for the SRT protocol. So I have 3 different roles: SRT listener, SRT caller, and rendezvous type of connection. What does it mean? SRT listener means that this instance right now, it's encoding, but it's not broadcasting anywhere and waiting for somebody to connect to it to start making a connection between the 2 points. Listener expects a caller. If you select to be a caller, obviously, it's exactly the reverse role. Rendezvous is the 3rd mode, which is typically used for traversing firewalls. So basically, both sides actively try to establish connection. Listener or caller is not defining who's the source, who is the source and the receiving end. It defines how the connection is initiated. So that makes it very versatile and very easy to go to set up. So I will stay on the listener mode. Obviously, you can put a password. Currently, I didn't put password. We'll put one later on. I'll show you this. So I have my stream going, and I'll open the VOC player, which supports SRT. As you can see, I just typed the address, and I can start monitoring my stream coming from this instance. So very simple up to here, right? But I want to protect this stream. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and put a password for the stream. And you will see after the stream restarts how the connection will be severed with this instance. So now I need to type a password in the caller. Let me just show you how it's done. Go to preferences, all media. The easiest way to find it is SRT. I already typed a password here before, so you put the password and it's done. So this is the way this protocol works. Again, you're getting higher quality of the packets. There's few drops, and the error correction code is much improved for streaming over the internet, unreliable networks like public internet connections. You get better latency, greater security over the typical UDP connection. And it's open source, so we'll expect wide adoption, so you can implement this easily with number of services and providers and other equipment, receiving end and so on. Again, if you want to utilize this in your workflow, just give us a call, our support staff, your local representative, and they'll set you up with the version that supports this particular workflow. All right, so let's go next to our other topic, commercial insertion. Commercials, the most important thing in any TV broadcast, because that's what makes the money. So typically here on my left side of the screen, I have my main programming, and let's say I have a couple of advertising blocks here. They're marked with these red lines. I can change the color obviously in the interface to bring my attention so I can easily find it in the screen. And what I have to do, I have to put some signal in the beginning of the block and the end of the block, the advertising block, in order when this program is transmitted and I have affiliates that pick up this signal, but they want to replace my commercial block with their local commercials or part of the commercial block. So this way I can signal them, okay, now is the time, start your local broadcast. And then when I finish my commercial block, come back to the main program. And here on the right side, you will see this is my receiving end. So this is the affiliate broadcaster. As you can see, I have live in. This typically sets, the input where I'm receiving my main program from the mother TV station, if you will. And I have a couple of commercial blocks, so I will trigger different blocks via different commands. Typically, this workflow was utilized with GPI commands coming from a different device that sends a GPI, start the commercial and the commercial block. DTMF was another popular way of controlling the ad insertion. So this is a tone signals in one of the unused audio channels. And recently, it's been used a protocol called SCT or SkyT. 104 is the number for SDI interfaces, or SCT SkyT 35 for UDP streams. So in this example here, we'll be using the SDI connection, and how I need first to set up a live input on my receiving end to define this live stream, and obviously listen. It has to be live source new. This is a live source module that allows these protocols, this ancillary data like the SCT 104 to pass through and to be used. I have to just configure it, which is very simple, couple of steps. I have the video card, select the input, and so on. So next step is to configure the module that listens for the DPI, which is these commands that switch the advertising blocks. And all I have here is to say, okay, what is my source? It's the source that I just showed you configured. And I have what command to execute when splice start is initiated from the external source. And in this case, splice end when it's initiated, what to happen. So I will have jump to bookmark with the name, which is the name of the bookmark I put for this particular commercial block. And as you can see, I can put like logical name, like block or unit or anything that identifies better the advertising segment, and then just using event ID as a tag here. So you don't need just to use simple things like a 1, 2, or just a number. You can put a verbal description that makes sense to you. So what will happen when I receive start? It will jump to the bookmark with the appropriate name that was signaled from the source. And when end command is received, it will execute return command, which means it will jump back to the live source, which it came from, which is my main programming on this in this case. So this is all configured on my receiving end. Let's go and just see here. I have enabled the output format, and for example, this is my first block, commercial block. What I have to do is just say, okay, start splice the commercials, start normal, event ID 1. If I want to give a definition of time zone, you can select a specific time interval where this command will be executed, and if it's received for some reason the playlist delays or something outside of this particular time frame, it will be just ignored. This is if you have some restrictions or you want to limit chance commercials to be triggered outside of specific times. But for now, I'll just leave it out because otherwise I have to specify exactly the time zone right now in order to show you how it works. And at the end, again, I'm putting same thing, splice end ID 1, and I have another event here, which is event 2, exactly the same setting. So right now, let's go to the clip before the advertising block. As you can see, I have this main program going on. I know this is the main programming because I have the logo news here, and you will see in the time when the clip finishes in 20 seconds, it will go over the first block, will start these two commercials. My block number 1, which is down here, will start. And when these two commercials are finished, doesn't matter where I am here, it will issue a return command and I'll come back to the main program. You can see it right now. Okay, you see it jumped to the commercial block 1 locally. You're watching this behind me on the screen. And after the second commercial in the main program, you will see it jumping back to the program. You'll see the logo news in the corner. And that's it. It's jumping back to program, as you see. So this is how it works. I can do the same thing jumping on the second commercial block here. Again, works just the commercial, the event is for the ID is number 2. It will jump to block number 2. But sometimes, let's say you want to, yeah, you see it jumps for the second block. No matter what order they're put into the receiving end, they just jump to the appropriate ID bookmark where you put that. Sometimes you may need probably to do this manually. For some reason, the operator needs to intervene. So in our shortcut shortbox, I can make shortcuts, add in, add out, which is basically the same commands that I have here as a bookmarks, but I can execute them manually. So right now I can just push and immediately I go to block 1, no matter where I am in the main playlist, and I can just send command and come back to program. I put little pictures here to show me on these buttons that these are commercials. I put custom names, ads in, ads out, to make it more understandable for me as an operator. And that makes it very simple. Again, this is utilizing the SCT or SkyT 104 with SDI inputs and outputs. You can do this same thing with streaming UDP protocol. SCT35 is the name of the protocol, or use the other methods that are DTMF, which is a tonal signal, tone commands in one of the unused audio channels, or GPI, which can be triggered from some external extractor device or any other way your facility may use for this particular workflow. All right, so this covers the part with the commercial insertion. I'd like to go to our third part. I'll close this portion and just minimize. So we would like to do a time delay on a transport stream. Typically, this workflow is used for delaying main program, let's say by 1 hour to cover a different time zone, like in Europe, let's say a couple of time zones, or you do a +1 for a particular channel. So the movie channel, you have always a second channel that just generates 1 hour delay, so people can catch the movie that is already in progress on the first one, they can catch it, and so on. In this case, this has been done. We have a product, time shift box, which offer this service for SDI signals, but for UDP streams, we have this product called Neo Transport Stream Time Delay. Oh, too many words to explain it, but it works in a very, very simple way. As you can see, I'm right now looking into the service info page, which still tells me that I have one input. Let me just remove my picture here. So I have one input, which is a signal coming from another machine. I have one mirror, which basically is like a pass-through, so I can monitor this locally on my multiviewer or something. And then I have one delayed signal. Even if I'm not logged in, I can still see this sort of as information on the page. You don't need to be able to change things, but just it's very nice so I can monitor it easily at your support staff or on-air operators and so on. So now I'm logged into the system, and I can take a look at what is coming to my input. And this is not one single program transport stream. This is multi-program transport stream, MPTS. As you can see, I have all these programs in this particular MPTS. I can take a look at this by just monitoring the UDP protocol, this one. And you can see I can go and select different program, let's say CNN. So I'm watching this one, but I can, the whole MPTS is being delayed. So let me look into the delayed signal, which you can see I put it for 10 seconds delay, so we can see it quickly, and it's on a port 4321. I'll go with another instance, and we can take a look here. This is gonna be port 4321. And I can go and select the same program. And these two are delayed by 10 seconds. I can monitor them this way or use any other multiviewer, whatever service I decide. You can see I have one time delay, but you can have multiple time delays. Like typically, let's say one input, one output, like one source delayed once. This can be something that you can set up on your channel in a box, let's say, to create simple like 1 hour delay, let's say. But in more complex scenarios, you can have multiple inputs to multiple delays. You can delay by 1 hour, by 1 day, by 1 week. For example, if you decide to delay, let's say 1 week, this is very versatile scenario for disaster recovery. Let's say you delay 1 week. So right now I have a backup for a whole week, exactly at this time of the day last week. So program schema is same for the most channels throughout the week. So if something happens with the main channel, I can just switch to my backup stream, which is 1 week delayed, exactly the same time of the day and same day of the week. And I can just use it as a disaster recovery scenario, which makes it again another clever use of this type of services. You can do redundant servers for the delay if you need to, for the redundant workflow. All of this is available depending on the configuration that you need to achieve. All right, so let me, that covers most of my presentation. I would like to open the floor for questions and answers. So let's see if I can get this up here. Get this up here. My colleagues are standing by to answer your questions also. If you come up with a question later on after this broadcast is over, you can always get in touch with your local sales representative. You can talk to our support engineers. They're very experienced with different workflows, so definitely they'll give you the right advice, what configuration. You can talk about if you need to implement any of the functionality you've seen today, how to update your system, you know, what's the exact configuration to get all of this functionality available for you. As we talked throughout this whole series of webinars, we would love to hear more from you. Obviously, we couldn't get together for the couple of trade shows that we were expecting as usual this year. We would love to talk more and see what are the questions you have, what are the particular workflow challenges you have in your daily routine, and see how we can help you to fix it. This will be very valuable information for us too. Okay, very valuable information, so we know how to develop our products and, you know, address all these issues. Is there use of storage in the time delay? Yes, it's a local hard drives. The limitations, as I said, you can delay to a week, month. So it's just a this type of delay. It's just a data delay. Think of it this way: we don't modify the stream. It's not decoded. It's as is with all the ancillary data that comes with the UDP multi-program stream or single program stream. You can just put it. The limitations is how big is your hard drive. But as I said, you can easily do a month delay. So obviously the limitations are kind of virtual. Of course, there is some limitation at one point. You can't put so much storage on one computer, but in a typical scenario, there's no limitation. Again, you can do the simple 1 in, 1 out, 1 delay signal. You can, as I mentioned, you can put it because it doesn't take processing power, since it's just a data delay on the server, so you can install it straight on your channel in a box. But if you want to go to multiple delay times and reliability and sort of disaster recovery scenario, then you should just install it on another server, have a different license for more inputs, outputs. you can, Fernando, automatic freeing space. You mean the space after it's filled up to start writing again? Yes, you can set up all this stuff to determine how to manage your hard drive space. But nowadays, the space never been an issue in this type of, because we all know nowadays hard drives are pretty big, so you can just create the delays fixed amount of space. Let's say 1 month of data for this bit rate. It's so many gigabytes, terabytes. So you calculate this, and this is your space. And after this delay is created, then automatically keeps leaving the last 1 week or 1 month or 1 day. This is your limit. This is how you set up basically the delay time, and it clears it. It stays constant. That's what means it's delayed exactly 1 week. It's not going to be 1 week and 1 day and so on. You have the 1 week back, so it's a fixed amount of space. It doesn't work like a DVR recorder, if you think about it. So it's very easy when you're setting it up and you say, I require a 1 month delay, calculate the necessary space. It's not a single file, obviously, yes. It segments it, so it's easy to manage, so you don't get the limitations of the file system of the server. And you can set this storage, and just automatically will be maintained. All right. If you have any other questions, me and my colleagues are standing by to try to address them. This is our webinar number 4, as I mentioned, and this is going to be the last one before the summer break. We want to wish you a great summer and enjoy as much as possible, despite the travel and all the scare situation around the world. We'll be joining you, hope to join you joining us again in the series of informational videos, announcements, and webinars towards the end of the summer, beginning of September. We'll love to hear feedback from you, as I mentioned, because the feedback is important to us, so we can address future webinars with the topics that are present an interest for you. And we'll be announcing new products, obviously, talk about some existing products, some specific workflows that we see as a interesting, and we think it's makes sense to share with a wider audience of specific workflows, specific scenarios, and share our experience, how you can get more out of your system, how you can provoke you to think, how say, creatively using the PlayBox Neo products. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you very much.